Damn, boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick-ass boy.
Welcome back to the channel. It's PT Stu. If you've not joined us before and this is your first video, welcome. Today's video is a video that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's taking me a long time to do it. I've actually taken about 10 months to do this video. And I put on a lot of weight at the beginning of this video. So I started back in January on the 28th of this year. And before that, I was eating whatever I wanted, enjoying the holidays. I got up to 212, almost 213 pounds. We're going to have before and after pictures at the end. But right now, I'm actually 167. Well, I was 167, but I put on an extra 3 pounds of muscle. Yes, over the past few weeks, I've been increasing my calories. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Many of you are coming to this video feeling hopeless. Many of you diet and go up and down in weight constantly. So it's not really a sustainable thing. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I'm a certified personal trainer of 12 years. I went to school for nursing, studied nutrition. I've tried pretty much every diet that I can think of with the exception of vegetarianism. You know, intermittent fasting, carnivore, counting macros, low fat, different things like that. And I have come up with a way to get to a point where I've finally been able to have self-control and be where I want to be. This program is designed to give you self-control. The self-control required to achieve and maintain the new life you're looking for. There's only one prerequisite for this program. You have to be able to stick to a task, however small. Now, I want to start by saying, with this program, you do not need exercise. I repeat, you do not need exercise. I do, however, encourage you to exercise, just simply for health, strength, bone strength, stuff like that. But if you don't want to go to the gym, I highly recommend walking. It is my #1 recommendation. The other thing that I will advise you is, this is not medical advice. Do not stop taking any prescription medications unless directed so by your physician. And please always contact your physician before attempting anything that you see here. Let's talk about the program. What are the goals of the program? #1, we want to gain self-control. If you don't have self-control, then you're going to diet up and down. The second part is to lose body fat. The third goal is to gain muscle while keeping your body fat low. And then goal #4, that's going to be a new lifestyle, a new you. When you have the self-control, you can eat how you're supposed to eat and also have what you want to have from time to time. And this does make a lasting solution. I can look at ice cream sitting right in front of me and I can not partake of it. And I don't feel the urge that drives you to do it. That anxiety that you get, you can't stop thinking about it. You know what I'm talking about, right? I don't get that anymore. Maybe a little bit here and there sometimes if I know that it's a day where I'm going to allow myself to have something like that. But my self-control is full and strong. Now, we are going to go through step 1. We're going to create small steps towards a larger goal. We are going to create new habits. The first part of this is to start with what you drink. As you can see, the goal is to drink only water. Now, please keep in mind that even with all of these steps, it's not like you're never going to drink anything besides water again. Let me preface this by also saying you can have tea that is unsweetened and unflavored, and also coffee that's unsweetened and unflavored and no creamer or anything like that. Now, I know I'm going to get this question a lot. Many of you are going to ask, well, what about artificial sweeteners? The goal of the first processes is to gain control of your sweet cravings. Doesn't matter if it's sugar, doesn't matter if it's artificial sweeteners. It's going to make you crave sweet. So we want to get rid of that. Okay, so first way we're going to do it is through the drinks that we consume. So as you can see here, I do have some steps layered, kind of just depending on where you're, starting, okay? If you're a soda drinker, you can go from regular soda to diet soda, then you can go to carbonated flavored water, then you can go to just flavored water, and then you can go to regular water. Or you could do like water and lemon, something along those lines. Now, this is all based on your preferences and how you want to do it. I know you see here week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. You can also make these weeks longer if you need to, if it takes you a little bit more time to get accustomed to them. Let's look at soda, juice, sweet tea, these kinds of things. They also have a good amount of sugar in them. So, and specifically milk, with the fat content in it, it's a high calorie food. I mean, milk is designed to help cows, baby cows, gain a huge amount of weight in a short amount of time. And you're drinking that. Step 2. Now we're going to try and start to control your sweet cravings. Once we start having you drinking only water, now we're going to go to the food portion of it. So you start by eating anything you want. The first thing I like to do is to cut out chocolate. You're going to realize that, like me, when I did this first step, every sweet, I could have sweets, but I still couldn't have chocolate. And everything I wanted was chocolate related. I couldn't believe it. It was so crazy. So chocolate is going to be the first thing that you're going to want to cut out. You can still have sweets of other kinds for the first week, but you cannot have chocolate. The next week, you're going to cut out real sugar and switch to artificial sweeteners and fruit. The third week, you're going to cut out artificial sweeteners and you're going to stick to just fruit only. And then in the fourth week, that's when you're going to cut out all fruit and artificial sweeteners in total. And remember, during this process, you can still eat all kinds of other foods, just not foods that are particularly sweet. Obviously, pizza sauce, pasta sauce, they're going to have a little tiny sweetness to them, but it's not something that you generally know as like a dessert or something sweet flavored, right? Guys, remember, barbecue sauce, ketchup, you want to pretty much avoid those as well. But you can have all kinds of foods, pizza, pasta, tacos, hamburgers, hot dogs. The idea behind this second step is that you want to switch from sweet cravings to savory cravings. So that's why during this whole step, you're allowed to have those things, but you're just focused on cutting out the sugar. Okay, so now we're going to move on to step 3. And so far, we are drinking only water and we cut out sweets. You're continuing on the first step with the second step. The third step is we're going to start cutting down on your calories and on your carbohydrate. The first step that you're going to do is while you're just eating your savory foods, we're going to start doing intermittent fasting. Now, you can still eat all of those foods, but what you're going to do is you're going to cut the window of eating down from your regular all-day eating to just an 8-hour eating window. It's going to be called a 16 and 8 eating window. Now, of course, there are different types of intermittent fasting. You can do a 12-hour fast, 18 and 6-hour fast, and then you can do a 16 and 8-hour fast. If you need to start with something more along those lines, you can do that. But don't spend too much time in those smaller steps. I would say if you're going to do a 12-hour fast one week, do a 14-hour fast the next week, and then go to a 16-hour fast on the following week, right? And then you have that 8-hour eating window. So you're all eating the same savory foods. So as you can see, I have that for 2 weeks there. The next step is going to be a little difficult to do at first. It's going to be where you're going to cut out all carbohydrate sources. So you can still have savory foods, salty foods, fatty foods, stuff like that. You can do avocados, you can do ribeye steaks, bacon, shrimp, lobster, all these different things, but you're going to cut out carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are going to be things like bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, fruit. You can still have vegetables in this time, but just non-starchy vegetables. The idea is that you want to get your body used to ketosis. That means that your body is going to be using fat for energy rather than carbohydrates as your primary energy source. For the first 2 weeks, you may experience something called the keto flu. And this is where you're not going to feel so well. You're going to feel a little bit tired. Your body's just not going to be used to doing this. But that will go away. And once it goes away, the light is going to come on and you're going to be bright and awake and have energy all the time. And you're going to feel great. Trust me on that. You guys are going to make it through it for sure. And as you go along with everything that we're doing with this, you're going to find that things start to get easier for you to do. Look forward to that. So we're going to go on that from 2 to 4 weeks. And the reason for that is because we need to have you do a full 4 weeks because you got to get out of that ketosis, the keto flu in 2 weeks and then have it for another 2 weeks, right? So there's a fourth step. The fourth step is an optional step. Some of you might want to go from ketogenic diet to carnivore diet. And that can be the third step in itself. If you choose you don't want to do keto, you don't have to do that. You can just go straight to the carnivore step. But in any case, whether you want to go to the keto and the carnivore, or if you just want to do keto by itself, or if you just want to do carnivore by yourself, it needs to be a 4-week window at least. And remember, guys, once you do the carnivore step, you're not doing any vegetables anymore with that. No vegetables, no fruit, only animal products. At this point in the process, you should be well over the sweet addiction. From the keto carnivore aspect, we're going to go into consuming lean meats, such as chicken, cod, lean turkey, lean steak, top round sirloin, lean ground beef, 97% lean, 93% lean, something along those lines. Also, we're going to start consuming low glycemic index carbohydrates. That's going to be things like white rice, white potatoes, sweet potatoes, blueberries, raspberries. I highly encourage you to go online and look up the foods that are low glycemic index foods. These are important because they digest slower. They turn into sugar slower in your body. It's the foods that turn into sugar very quickly that are likely to turn into body fat more. We are going to go to eating every 3 to 4 hours. We're not counting calories or anything like that, but what you should do is try to just make sure that your portion sizes are even from meal to meal. And when you eat from 3 to 4 hours, I would say that typically you're going to get in 4 to 5 meals a day. Why is this important? The body sees incoming food as a sign of plentifulness. When you don't eat as much and when you decrease your calories and everything, the body starts to go into a preservation mode. They call it starvation mode. Well, in this preservation mode, it starts to lower different functions in the body that are not super important. It starts to focus on some of the more important ones. So it can survive on less calories. Well, what does that mean? It means your metabolism slows down. So when you eat multiple times a day, guess what's happening? Your metabolism is starting to say, oh, there's food coming in all the time. I don't need to store as much fat. So I'm going to start using this fat as energy if the calories are low enough. And that's what we're going to get to in the next step, is we're going to actually start using a macro calculator to start measuring our calories. Now, there are different macro calculators out there. I personally use bodybuilding.com, but you can just go into Google, type in macro calculator. And what you want to do is you want to find your baseline for your daily intake. What is it just to maintain your body as it is? Whatever your goal may be, you can increase the calories, you can decrease the calories, but the macros are important for a certain reason. Protein builds muscle. Fat is used for hormonal function and energy, basically. Carbohydrates are used for energy. McDonald's has a specific way of getting things right. They have the formula. What's the formula that makes them so addictive? The right amount of fat, the right amount of sugar, and the right amount of salt. It's the fat and the sugar that are basically meant to go into your fat cells. They're energy sources. So what we need to do is we need to start eating the right ratio of protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And this is essentially where it comes down to you are what you eat. So if you eat muscle, if you eat chicken, steak, you're going to become more muscle. If you decrease your carbohydrates, you're going to not store as much fat. Same with the fat. Actually, I would say that fat is really more of the culprit to turn into fat. When you do a low fat diet, you're going to see your body fat go down. You can still have carbs up. Think about it like this. Can you get fat on fruit? Maybe some fruit, but really not really. And why is that? Well, can you get fat on cupcakes? Yes, they're both sweet. But what does the cupcake have that the orange doesn't have? A bunch of fat in it. So it's fat that really makes you fat. Now, you need a certain amount of fat for your hormones and everything like that to feel good. You can drop your fat down to a pretty low level and still feel all right, but you might feel a little bit off. And for right now, you're just getting used to doing the macros for this step. When it comes to macros specifically, we are going to go down in calories, and this is going to reduce your body fat. What we want to do is we want to look at the maintenance, and we want to cut down the maintenance by 200 calories per day each week for 4 weeks. So that will cut you down to about 800 calories. But eventually, you're going to get used to the lower calories, and then your metabolism is going to slow down. We have to make sure that you're not going to bounce back into a fat plumpkin by eating a higher calorie load. And how do we do that? It's called reverse dieting. You're going to increase your calorie intake by 100 calories per day, and you can increase in different ways, protein, carbs, fats, however you want to do it, but you still want to keep your fats low. Personally, my fat intake right now is about 9% of my total calorie intake. I got all the way down to 1,400 calories, and I've worked my way back up to 2,800 calories. 42% of the calories are coming from protein, 45% are coming from carbohydrates, and then the rest is going to be coming from fat. So it's that low-fat diet that is helping me to put on more muscle without putting on more body fat. Now I can go and eat what I want on the weekend, maybe, and I don't do an all-day thing, but I just do it like, one day during the weekend, and I have whatever I want, and I'm good. I go back to doing what I was doing before because I have the self-control now to do those sorts of things. By this point, you should have self-control and be able to eat whatever you want, one meal every 1 to 2 weeks. That should be no problem, and you can go back on eating the way that you're eating. And guys, you're going to get compliments. You're going to hear from people, oh, you look great. What are you doing? You're going to hear, you're going to like the way you feel. You're going to realize that your brain is working so much better, that you have so much more energy throughout the day. And you can continue this step 5. You can go back up in your calories, right? And guess what? Now you have a lower body fat percentage, but your calories are up here. So what can you do now? Well, you can drop those calories down again and get your body fat down even lower this time. And then you can go back up slowly again with that reverse dieting. And now you have a new baseline for your metabolism and your body fat. And so this is a sustainable process, guys. You can control what you're eating and still enjoy everything else in balance. And you finally will know what that balance is. Now let's look at some of these charts here for my own personal. As you can see, it looks like the body fat percentage went from 29.5 down to 18.3. Let me just say, I'm using a scale that's at home. There's no way I'm at 18% body fat. If you look at my pictures, I'm probably more like around 10 or 9 or something like that. But what I can say is that it looks like I've dropped about 11% body fat, if you can say that it's, at least able to measure a change like that. When it comes to my weight, I actually got up to 216 and I got down to 167. So I lost about 50 pounds there. When you look at the muscle, actually, it actually went up the whole time. What I did through this whole process is I recomposed my body. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the comparison pictures. So from 216 down to 167. Obviously, you can see, I just wanted to point out I'm poking up my belly in this picture. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows I'm not poking up my belly in the first picture, but I'm poking up my belly in the second picture. But you can see where, I went down to 1,400 calories, started to work my way up. I hit the 1,600 calorie mark and weighed 169. And then actually, as I started increasing the calories, my metabolism increased. So that's because the body processes started to pick up again. And that was me at 2,400 calories. So, and what I've done since then is I've actually put on 2 more pounds of muscle, increasing my calories up to 2,800 calories. Guys, and by the way, I lift weights. If you want to build more muscle, you have to lift weights. Although I will say you don't need to do that for your body to recompose. You're going to look more muscular once you really get down in body fat. It's just a simple fact of, when it comes to actually having larger muscle, well, you do have to do some weight training for that. Here's another picture where you can see from like a front profile, like, where I am to where I came to. From here, I do have some final tips for you guys. You may take longer times per section. I think I went over that just a little bit ago. If it's taking you a week, or if you feel like a week is not enough for you, you can go 2 weeks, 3 weeks with it, just to help you settle in. Don't jump ahead. Don't combine your steps. Keep them all one by one. It's important for you not to take on the whole world at one time because it will crush you. That's why this works. I would hold off on cheap meals until you feel self-control. Perfectly honest with you, you don't want to cheat during the keto month because you do need to make sure that you go into ketosis. When you have sugar, it will take you out of ketosis. So that's a time where you really don't want to do that. So reinforce that in your mind, not to do that during the keto month. Like I said before, keto flu for 2 weeks potentially, but you'll feel amazing after that. My favorite macro ratio right now is going to be 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% fat. So guys, I wish you the best of luck on your journey. If you have any questions, you can always comment go ahead and also check out my Instagram. You're going to see some different pictures there. You can message me. We can talk a little bit. And when you have success, I would love to hear about it as well. That's it for me. Good luck on your success, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.